Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video we are learning the for each loop in Excel VBA. Unlike the traditional for and X loop, for each automatically goes through every object in a collection, whether it's a cell, worksheet, workbook or shapes. We'll understand the syntax and see practical examples, compare it with the for loop and learn when you should use each one. So let's get started. So imagine if you have 10,000 cells to process. Do you really want to keep counting rows numbers? What if VBA could automatically visit each cell for you? That's exactly what the for each loop does. So what is a for each loop in VBA? It is a loop in VBA and is used to iterate through every object or element in a collection or array, one by one without using an index number. It is commonly used with cells in a range, worksheets, workbooks, charts, shapes, arrays, collection. So instead of specifying the starting and ending values, VBA automatically moves to the next item until every item has been processed. So let's see the syntax of for each loop. So for each variable in collection, and then we have to write the code to execute next variable. So for each starts the loop. It is the syntax for starting the for each loop. Variable is holding the current item from the collection. In specifies the collection or array, and collection is the group of objects to loop through, and next variable moves to the next item. So let's see it through some examples. So let's assume we want to color the background of cell A1 to A10, and we have to write a code for this using for each in VBA. So let's start by inserting a module and start writing sub for each example, and we have to declare the cell as range, and then starting our for each. Now for each is the starting of this loop. Our variable here will be the cell, for each cell in range A1 to A10. So this range A1 to A10 is the collection, the group of objects to loop through. So for every cell in this A1 to A10, the loop will go from A1 to A10. Now coming to the code to be executed after going to these loops. So we want the cell interior color to be is equals to RGB 0 and next cell. So this code will make the A1 to A10 cells as the background color having RGB 255, 255, 0. So let's run this program and see what happens. So here we have yellow color in range A1 to A10. Now comes the question that for is almost same like for each, then when to use for and when to use for each. So use for each when you want to loop through cells in a range, loop through worksheets, loop through workbooks, charts, shapes, arrays and collection. So for loop is used when the number of iterations is known. You know the loop counter, means you know the rows number. You want to use steps, you need to loop backward. And for each, as I told, works with worksheets, charts, shapes, and you don't need an index. You want cleaner and more readable code. So quick summary is for loop is used when we have to counter 1 to 10 or something like that. For each, loop through every object in a collection. Loop is best for numeric operation, and for each loop is best for working with Excel objects like cells and worksheets. So in Excel VBA, when processing every cell in a range or every worksheet in a workbook, for each is generally the simpler and more reliable choice. So this was all about for each loop in VBA. See you in next video, and don't forget to subscribe the channel if you find this video helpful, and thank you so much for watching this video.